my voice. Oh, this reverse. Again.
How is everybody? Yes, we've been gone because we needed to sort out our lives. We mustn't be on social media just trying to
look for admiration.
Yeah, that's like in real life. My real life got punked out, you know.
Really?
My real life did get punked out. Just not die.
Yeah, but don't do it like that.
They kicked it up in the sky. Like that. So
but didn't catch it.
That's right, never.
Wow.
I always recover. It pisses people off. Anyway.
Your mouth's always moving in these.
Have to put back on the weight. I mean.
Crunching. Welcome back, guys.
Oh.
Can you like, comment and subscribe now?
No, actually, no, do that to the family. They're called family now. Family. 600 million subscribers to the new subbies. Yeah. But,
yay.
We're very opinionated on this channel. Yeah. Doesn't mean we hate anyone. We don't. But I particularly do have a bit of a issue with people trying to come into my identity and claim it as their own.
The transgenders really
they get on my nerves. Not all of you, but maybe all of you.
Bow down, bitches.
It's just for me. I gotta be honest. You want to know my reasoning behind it? If you're gonna come and step in somebody's identity, make sure you get the same pay as us women. Can't still be getting man pay. Oh. If you're gonna be a woman, go the whole hog. Please. When was the last time you had a period? Please have a period, a proper one. Yeah. Go the whole hog. You understand? Secondly, for me, it's very misogynistic, the attitude. It's like, I'm going to be honest, as a woman, because I was born one, it's like, you're still a man who put on her dress and still telling women what to do and assuming our identity. Piss take. Sorry. If you're gonna take on the identity of woman,
getting an artificial tonton and room. Bye.
Right. If you're gonna take on an identity, get your hips changed as well, because
they do that.
Your hips are different to give.
What, like open them?
Yeah. You know, just that like there's no difference between us, but there was before.
Yeah.
Suddenly there's no difference.
The transgender.
The fact that you have to change to become a woman means you're not one. That's the whole argument done out.
So, but you need to pay homage to the originals.
Yeah, don't just come stepping all up and people. You know what? Don't know what it reeks of. Catfishing, blackfishing, gender fishing. Now is that what we're calling it?
Gender fishing.
It's the same thing. What's the difference?
You know
it's very entitled. To be honest, it's reeking of white entitled behaviour. Because he was the first tranny, whether black or white, and there's always with this black attitude, girl.
Yeah. Facts. The black woman.
And then the black woman's just a caricature of herself. It's just a joke. Everybody's a joke to me. The whole planet's a joke. Speaking of that, sorry.
Yeah, that country was going on a bit long.
Speaking of that, we were speaking and we told you about the aliens.
Yeah,
and since we did our show, what has the government come out and said?
The department is fully committed to the principle of openness and accountability to the American people. However, we are also mindful of our obligation to protect sensitive sources and methods. Our goal is to strike that delicate balance.
As the image comes into focus, you don't have to speak French to grasp the family's astonishment. And check this out. At moments, it looks like this thing is flaming, something we've never seen before. Is it a craft burning off fuel as it ascends into space?
Aliens are here.
Whatever this thing is, it's not making any noise, and it's not clear how it stays aloft.
Well, this is the reality. A lot of us were called weirdos, conspiracy theorists, what else?
During lockdown was...
The past couple of decades, people have been... I know me personally, I've been called a lot of things over the years, and it's taken all these decades for all this to materialise. Yeah. And also now, all the people that they were told they were lying, that saw these ships for the longest time.
Yeah, you gotta give them an apology, because if the government's now exposing declassifying
deep state, you need to give your weird friends an apology.
Right.
That's right.
Pause the video and apologise.
The main thing today for me, you know what's in my heart today? Amaruca. And we had certain, you see, I'm from an era where we were in on a revolutionary, thing. We were learning about who we were, and every time we tried to step it up, they shut it down. The Black Panther movement, all of that. And the cougar is native to America, by the way, as in the Black Panther. It's a little bit of knowledge I just dropped there. See if you picked it up. Now, one person that was repping, you didn't notice, was Tupac Shakur. Yeah. So some of us knew who we were. Now, what I'd like to say is I would like to thank Africa for being so hospitable for a lot of us who are escaping the madness. And I'm hearing a lot of Europeans, especially rich ones, are running their backsides to Africa. Remember, they said it was a dump. Do you remember?
Go back to Africa.
When I was growing up, they said it was a poor and everybody was hungry. Then people used to say to me, "Oh, poor Africa." I used to blaze them out and say, "You do know where your coffee comes from,
right?
You do know where the chocolate comes from.
You do oil, the vibranium. That's
right."
No, but you know how you were saying during your time, like everyone was a bit more
woke.
Yeah. They obviously made our generation dependent on not social media, but like intelligence, AI, phones, TV, programming. Yeah. So we don't think about what's going on because you're brainwashed, and then like they glaze everything over with, oh, here's a new device, here's a new show, here's a new, gadget.
But you see, like, okay, as for me, as your parent, it was, see, when I hear people my age say the kids are too bad, I think, but we raised them. So why are they bad? You understand? What I personally think that we stopped having to fight for anything.
Yeah.
We didn't have to fight for ourselves so much. You could have the TV, the car on your drive. You were lulled into a false sense of security. You with me? And America has been the big source of that. But what I wanted to say is, what a lot of people don't understand is that, as I've always said, we're all a pawn in the game, black, white and other. Everybody is a pawn in the game, right? And the thing about all of this is that we've been put into classifications. Even some of the things we say, I really respect this guy's channel. Is called Karmetics, KHAM ethics, is it? Karmetics? But he said something and I thought, well, we don't all know everything. But I personally just, because I'm somebody that studies this certain thing, I thought all of this classification has made us be very disrespectful towards each other without knowing it.
Yeah.
A lot of the things we say were the titles that the white Voyager gave us. And before them, I would continue to say that there was the Turks and the Arab man and the Hindustan man, and that we were sold at the Mecca. There's pictures of it. You understand? So before them, black masters had white slaves. Yes, they did. Go and look it up. They did.
The information.
Yeah, and black sold black, coloureds to coloureds. Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. Right. And the mixed race sold their parents into slavery too. Yeah, they did. Yeah, it's all the information is out there for you to go and find it too. And as I've said, we're going to always give you links, really good links.
Check the description.
Because one thing that we'll say is we're not afraid. Look, we're not the gatekeepers of information. Some people actually feel that they are, you know, but I don't feel that way.
I learned this before you.
Yeah. I personally think that, as I've always said, I'm a person where I never stayed in one thing. And for people that come, because Eden deals with the comments, because I'm going to have time, I got too much things to be caught up in. She will tell me, but Eden predominantly deals with the comments. But I know some people want to do big speeches. For me, it's good for other people who come along, but do a channel.
Yeah.
If you've got that much information and fire in you, do it, because I personally think that if we all put input into the knowledge pool, then we can all help each other and join the dots. I don't stay in one lane. I want to know what's going on in the government. I want to know what's going on in religion. I want to know what's going on in science. I've got my finger and my interest in everything, because for me, that's how you join the dots. And also, if you watched our last 2 videos, well, you can see that the government had you fooled all this time. Everybody that thought they were more righteous than the next person, we all sold our souls from birth. Everybody sold their soul, and you never knew. You know, when you got baptized, and you know that zeal of the Lord was in you, which I keep telling you, all these titles, Lord, God, Jesus. All right, we say it's Hawashai, Hawa are the real names, yeah. But still, you still don't fully know who these entities or great spirits really are. We don't all know everything there is to know about everything until we cross over on the other side. We don't fully know. All you know is to try to be as righteous as possible and to lead with love. You know, that doesn't mean to be a fool and to lie over and turn the other cheek like they told us, because this is what they told us why we're in this mess, yeah?
But what I don't like is that the generations before us don't say anything.
Because they were under, you know what? First of all, because slavery isn't abolished anyway.
Yeah, of course. But you can't say like, oh, we need to stop going through this every generation. But then you're not telling the next ones, this is what they're lying about. This is the truth, you know. And just make sure you stay in that vein. And make sure your children as well know. That's how you get rid of it. You banish it. But if you keep
people are emotional,
being quiet
and emotional,
anything,
not my Jesus, my Jesus. If you watch the last 2 videos, you need to really question who your God is. If you're not questioning who your God is at this point, I don't know what to say to you. When I said that when they talk about being the Hebrew Israelite, stop calling yourself that. I also said you might be the originals, but in this Bible that you're holding, you have to be very careful, because they have doctored it so many times. It doesn't mean there's no truth in there, but which part is true? Because
they put themselves
because they put themselves in it. For instance, right, to this day, people are asking, where is Atlantis? It's America. We're going to give you books and we're going to put them up there for you to read them, right? And we'll go into them in the next videos. But all you had to do was take the C off and replace it with an S, and you would have got the Atlantis. What is the only place that has a name close to Atlantis? Atlanta. Come on, this shit's not really that hard, right? And when you look on the map, we'll put the map up there of where Atlanta is. It's next to Plymouth Rock, Virginia, Massachusetts. These were all the places that the ships came in with slaves. And then we talk about slaves. Remember I said to you that being American Indian, Indigenous, Native are all different things, remember? And we will go into that, because this is just the introduction. We'll read it and go into it and show you. And so, coming back to my point about this other person and their channel, they made a statement that America was just full of mixed race people. This is the white man's ideology. You are partially right, but you're not entirely right.
The genetics of these people that live in Native Americans, that they vary widely. But the Olmecs seem to have very similar features: the thick lips, the wide noses.
I will say it again, and I will prove it in the next video. again, the American Indians are, because of the America, the English who came over and changed themselves to Americans and raped the indigenous people. The baby that came as the product from that is called an American Indian. Yeah? The natives are other races like the triracial, the Mongolians. Is that what they're called again?
Yeah. Skulls was that they were tested for DNA when DNA technology was not as advanced as it is today.
Mongolians. They were a triracial group, right? So sub-Saharan, Indian as in Amaruca before they became America, yeah, and European, possibly, sometimes Italian, Swedish, German.
And what that DNA showed was that they were more closely related to modern Native Americans than they are to any other people in the world. So the notion that there was some connection with Polynesia or Africa was dismissed. But now that we have very firm evidence.
And what they did was when they came over to America, when they were bought on the ships. They were the ones that were bought on the ships. There were some Africans bought on the ships, but they often came as part of a dowry. Let me explain. A big person who was part of a dowry. Thomas Jefferson's wife, Martha. But apparently, Martha and Sally are half-sisters due to their fathers. Their mother, in some original documents, it says that she was a full-blooded African. Some say that. Some say she was mixed race. But either way, Sally was mixed raced.
And biracial.
Yeah.
Because that could mean anything.
Yeah. And her sister was mixed race too. Right? Now that's some brother, sister, cousin, brother team because your president or the previous president, Thomas Jefferson was basically ramping with mixed race women. Apparently that picture of Martha is not the true depiction of her. He said in 300 years there hasn't been a true image of her.
But why would you do that?
So what were they hiding? You understand? But, you know, you can only even type it into Wikipedia and it will show you that what these Mongolian people did, because the Karens and Kens of that day would be on, who are you? Bearing in mind, you are immigrants. You're not from the land. And we'll prove that too.
Of an Australasian genetic signal, Australian Aborigines, Papua New Guinea, Melanesians, with those kind of features. Now that we have the genetic evidence that is found in the Amazon, we have to go back to that old evidence and reconsider it.
Now, I don't know how people still don't know who the indigenous people of America were, or Amaruca were, because they keep telling you that these other people were mixed race.
Yeah.
The African American is basically the mixed race child. The European went to Africa and raped the African woman, i.e. Thomas Jefferson's whole entourage were mixed race and brought them over to America. Black people, you are not African American, you are indigenous people. There is so many documents, even of slavery, where they said that you were never put on ships. You were never put on ships out to Africa. You were put on ships to the next state. And if you ran away, you were brought back. You were already there. And so what I would like to really officially say is, it's about time that we stop classifying ourselves based on these pirates and voyagers. Because this is what's separating us and causing the disrespect. Africa is beautiful. You are called the motherland because you were the first place that these voyagers went to. So they called you the motherland. And then they got lost on the way to America. They said northwest. Northwest, and everyone's been thinking Atlantis is Spain. But there are so many books that say, no, Atlantis is America. Plato said it too.
If you look on the compass though, let's be real. North would be
north, west.
Exactly.
You know.
Go straight to America.
Right. Now, on top of that, there were the Seminole War. You know, there were so many wars with the Indians, and we'll show you a picture And if you zoom in, you will see a big black face. You know, everybody thinks that America is some poor place because you see this concrete jungle. It has protected lands.
Because what we have in the Americas, North and South America, is a gigantic landmass, enormously rich in resources.
Some of those protected lands are the Grand Canyon. These are the writings on the walls that you've seen. Not everything that you think is Egyptian is from Africa, because they used to call America Egypt too. Plato talks about, says he called it Egypt because, remember, they'd never been there before. They saw people who were similar to the people that they came from. They even said it. Some were swarthy, some were copper coloured, and some were yellow. Think about that. If you think about the Nicaraguans, when have they ever changed their identity? And are they not black? You know, America,
don't want us to have anything.
America is under so much suppression, and right now, that is why my man, he went and killed all those black people the other day. People like him, boys like him, get taken for a burger.
You know, Nico from Sidemen, he interviewed a guy from the KKK. Like, I think he was like the headmaster, and fooled him and made him believe like it's a genuine interview from BBC, but he's just a YouTuber and he was just trolling him the whole time. So like, people are always, they're going out of their way to like prove the point that you look stupid.
Yeah,
like you've made a whole organization
from false identity.
Do you know what I mean? From delusion.
And what does the information we looked up today say about the American who was the European? That their identity was about being Caucasian wasn't accurate, because it's actually a laughing, it's a joke, because it stems from Mongoloids. Didn't they say that? The Mongoloids. But basically,
Mongoloids.
Being a pure white is not really a thing. It's not a thing. It's not even a thing. And even if it was a thing, you know, you got to remember that white voyagers wrote in the history books that they left from somewhere, they had nothing, and went to these lands to get something, and inseminated themselves into the bloodline, because that's what it was about. Inseminating themselves into the bloodline so that they could have a genuine connection to the land and keep it. And then the terminology.
It's all for documents, but in the documents they'll say you're not actually black.
Yeah.
Or if someone's to pass, they'll say like they're white, and they could actually be mixed race or quarter caste or something like that.
Well, Thomas Jefferson's children is a stark example of that, because some of them, was it three boys, maybe 2 boys, 1 girl, three of them went and passed as white. So when people are talking about white privilege isn't a thing, are you okay? Are you actually listening to what we're saying? They had a choice. The rest of the children decided to just be coloured, right? They identified themselves as being coloured, right? But the reason why some people went the white way is because they could pass, and then that would mean they wouldn't have to go through all of the pain, the stress, the fighting, you know, the abuse, the racism that black people went through. And then sometimes
but low-key, that's out of order though, because not only are you leaving like other siblings, you're leaving your parents. Well, parents did all this to get you out for you not to come back for them. But fight at least.
But you see, here's the thing with that. Yeah, some of them didn't look back. And you know what? The great big example of that is the Indians now that sit on the land, like the Navajo Indians, which is a white Indian, because, and you know that these people that say they're Indigenous Indian or the Indian, when they say I'm native, they think it means, oh, I'm definitely from the straight bloodline. No, you're not, right? Is that their religion is usually Christianity or in some form. The Indigenous people, their religion wasn't Christianity. In fact, what's his name? John Eliot, who printed the first Bible, they call him apostle to the Indians, the Incas. If you look and go and dig, the Incas, they look like me, basically. Bit darker, and their hair is straight. Then another thing about that, black people aren't trying to be white when they have straight hair. Well, not all of them, right? Not all of them, because there's a big contention about being yourself and wearing natural hair. Some of us do have naturally straight hair. Some of us wear our hair straight sometimes because we can. And it wasn't, we were straightening our hair
and it's
way before white people came along. Way before. And also, what I'd like to say, I'm kind of swerving, but I saw a white girl came row her hair and she was saying, "Hey, you're just jealous because it looks better on me." Now, first of all, there was no argument in this thing. First of all, you are showing your dissatisfaction with yourself
Please.
By trying to become somebody else and then telling them to be jealous of you. That makes no sense.
No,
so I'm not even talking about that any longer.
And the reasons why we can roll our hair anyways, to protect our hair.
Yeah.
Like, it has no purpose for you.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're doing it for.
Yeah. And for people that don't understand why we're very territorial about things like that, it's because we weren't allowed to wear our hair. Even me,
and where it originates from. In slavery, they put rice in the cane rows.
Yeah, so they wouldn't go hungry. But like, we haven't been able to be ourselves. Going to work, sometimes with black hair, you think it's rough. It's not. It's actually delicate. It's like a cashmere jumper.
Please.
You've got to take care of it. And so when you're forced to wear your hair like a white person, but you're not white, it's very stressful, and you damage your hair. And we do different things to rest our hair. So, you know, if you really feel that at least say, "I like the way you wear your hair," and show us some respect.
You know what I mean?
You know, all of this shit you're doing is you are showing us the point that we're making. You're a thief. Fucking long teeth, and I ain't got time. Rotted teeth with no manners. At the end of the day, I will add, I do have a mixed race child. I do. And what I will say in all of this is, remember, if you were remembering the couple of videos ago that we put up, we showed you the American news reporter who showed you that 15% of black people's thing is calcified, wasn't it?
Pineal gland.
How many percent of, would they say, Asians was calcified?
Like 30.
Something like that. And Europeans or white people, it was 60 to 70%. So the 40 to 30% that are uncalcified to the 15%. Just remember, in every race, somebody's thing is calcified. Some of your black people are calcified. So make sense of that. So what am I saying? My main thing, I really want to show my love to America, because I always felt like, obviously, I'm a Jamaican. Yes, I'm Jamaican, and I'm proud.
Yeah.
Proud of that. You see me? But I'm also Cuban. But when my grandmother died, I was listening to the recording the other day of her in the hospital. I mean, she always said it, and a lot of our parents said it, but we thought they were talking about Hindustan, which is Pakistan and India. But what I will also swerve and say is, the very black goddesses out there are the original women, and they were washed out too. And I know some of you dark-skinned Indian women are still disrespected. And honestly, this is all it's about, really and truly. And that needs to dead off. And to be honest, the time's done now. It's ticking. All of this classism and what do you call it again? Colorism is done soon. So enjoy the ride while you can. Yeah. So what I saying? Yeah, but then recording, listening to my grandmother, she said, "Oh, my father was an Englishman." So I'm thinking, so when you was blazing us out for being with a white man, your dad was white, and you never said, because you know what? I never saw my grandmother's. She never spoke about her parents.
But I don't get it.
She never spoke about her parents. One day, I remember waking up, and we were living at our grandmother's house, and I was young at the time. And I came downstairs, I'll never forget it. And there were all these pretty women at the table, and I was like, One, I'm sure she had blue eyes. It was my grandmother's sister. They come from Jamaica. I was like, who are the who are these women? Who are they? You know, and I went with that memory for years, but I never said anything. Now, just before she died, she says my dad was an Englishman. Now, that could mean anything, because for people that are still stuck in the white man's ideology and think we all came out of Africa,
Black people were
we
here.
were already in Europe.
Please.
Remember in one of our previous videos, which we'll put up, T.H. Huxley said that Europe was predominantly, if not wholly, black, swarthy, as in black, right?
Big black beasts.
Right, big black beasts live there. The Caucasus Mountains, where you say, you know, we know the white people were in the mountains. We were there first. For all the people the Esau people, Esau heresies, go and read, man. At this point, it's pathetic. Just grow the fuck up and stop being emotional. You might actually learn something. So when she said, you know, and then his father was white, I was like, eh? And then her mother was was an Indian, and her father, she was half Indian. Her father and mother, father was white. No, mother was white, father was Indian. Is that right? Anyway, long man. Either way, she said Yaya was a Arkansas Jew, and I was like, but we were supposed to not be quabsing what blacks and whites were supposed to hate each other. Another lie. Another cap. She was running away from slavery in America, and went to Jamaica and married my grandfather, who was American Indian. There you go. That's it. He was American Indian. And so I've come across another site where this woman who was also interested in her identity, she went and she even visited the gravestones in different countries. She went in and she's made this website, which I'll put up. Go and look. It speaks about British Israelism. It talks about the British and the Jews and weddings, deaths and births, the marriages in Jamaica. It goes in. Yeah, it goes in. So go and have a look at that. And also, like, we don't mind if you go ahead and come and comment. Like, love it. Just go ahead.
Like the comments.
Yeah, man. Tell us what you found. You know, we're very interested. The main point, all I want to say is pray for Amarucans. Yeah, pray for Amarucans, because they've never been free. When the slaves were freed, we've put the book up and put it up again. The reason why white Indians couldn't be slaves anymore. That emancipation thing wasn't for the blacks. It wasn't for the indigenous people. Otherwise, they wouldn't still be fighting to this day.
Because we're the originals. Why would you give the originals freedom?
Precisely. And then
turn all of them against us as well.
Well,
I don't come from black people. You know how quick they are to...
Quick. Because it, like we said in one of our first videos, was it Passing or one of the other ones?
Yeah.
It didn't pay to say that you were black. So when people say there's not white privilege, you're chatting out your backside. You're right that it's all a plot, but it's not true. Ken and Karen know it's not true. They know there's privilege, and these Kens and Karens work in the banks, they work in the government, they work in schools. They're the people that are policing apartment buildings and asking people where they come from. Yes, they know that white privilege exists. Yes, they do. So come on, grow up, get it together, because America's going down. And you know what? Those are our sisters and brothers. We are not separate. They separated us and gave us all these classifications, and it's about time it stopped.
If people don't wake up, though,
what can we do?
Peak.
Anywho, I think that's our introduction. We're going to go and come back and concentrate on most of the things we've said in here individually. So we'll leave you for now, and we'll see you later.
Bro, I had a major brain alert. Major. Check this shit out. Can somebody please explain why there are so many photos of white people coming in on boats? Specifically, coming here to America on boats. coming here to America on boats in the 1800s. But I can't find no photos of so-called black people coming here on boats to America. Because according to their history, the last slave ship came here in 1858. Now here's where it get real interesting for me. So my 4 times great-grandmother, Delia Corsi, born around 1820, has an actual photo. And she still look young. So I'm guessing maybe this is 1845? Maybe 1850? Where the boat?